Dear listeners, I am Nitika Kanojia, Assistant Professor in the Department of English and Foreign Languages.
And I am Dr. Meghapan, Assistant Professor in the Department of English and Foreign Languages.
And you are listening to 91.2 FM Hello Haldwani, Uttarakhand Open University Community Radio. Today, we will be discussing some literary terms that are widely used in English literature and are of great significance. Have you heard of meter, poetic diction, form, verse or figures of speech? These all are commonly used literary terms and there are other numerous terms as well. But first, Megha, would you like to share what is a literary term?
Yes, Nitika. A literary term is a specialized word or phrase used to describe specific techniques, elements, or structures within literature. These terms help analyze and discuss various aspects of text such as themes, styles, and narrative devices. They provide a common language for discussing and interpreting literary words. Understanding these terms enhances the ability to critically engage with and appreciate literature. We will be discussing selected terms in the series of our 4 radio lectures.
So let's get started. I would like to start with the word archaism. The use of archaic words in literature. Archaic words mean those that belong to an earlier period. So, archaism is a form of writing where the writer chooses a word or phrase which is purposefully old-fashioned or no longer in use in our day-to-day conversations. There is a popular phrase to bid adieu which was adopted into English in the 1300s by Geoffrey Chaucer in his poem Troilus and Cressida. But it was actually Shakespeare who made this phrase famous. He wrote in The Merchant of Venice as a quote, "Adieu, I have too grieved a heart to take a tedious leave," unquote. But instead of using the word adieu today, we simply say goodbye.
Nitika, I remember when we read Shakespeare, we often find the archaic words thou and thee, which are now used as you and your in modern English.
Yes, Megha. And next word is allegory. It is taken from Greek and Latin language which means to speak figuratively. In literature, allegory is a story, picture or other piece of art that uses symbols to convey a hidden or ulterior meaning, typically a moral or political one.
Nitika, have you read Animal Farm by George Orwell?
Yes, Megha. Animal Farm is actually one of the most famous examples of allegory. On its surface, Animal Farm is a story about farm animals that rebel against their farmer. The underlying story, however, concerns Orwell's disillusionment with the Bolshevik Revolution and is an indictment of the Russian government. Orwell demonstrates revolutionary leaders can also become as corrupt and incompetent as the government they overthrow, even if they are honest in the beginning. She sells seashells by the seashore. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. I know these are tongue twisters, but interestingly, these are also the examples of alliteration, our next literary term. Alliteration is a literary device or figure of speech that involves the repetition of the same initial consonant sound in a series of words or phrases. It is often used to create rhythm, enhance mood, or emphasize a particular theme in poetry or prose. Alliteration can make phrases more memorable and can also contribute to the musical quality of the language, just like these tongue twisters.
For I have learned to look on nature not as in the hour of thoughtless youth, but hearing oftentimes the still sad music of humanity. These lines are from the lyrical ballads by Wordsworth and Coleridge.
Such beautiful lines. Megha, can you tell our listeners what a ballad is?
Yes, Nitika. A ballad is a form of narrative poetry that tells a story in a song-like manner, originating from the Scottish word ballad, which means dance. Ballads were initially a form of rural entertainment. Singers and dancers would travel from village to village, performing on farms and fields to entertain villagers. Ballads focus on deeds rather than thoughts and usually start abruptly, sometimes with questions and answers. The common stanza form is a quatrain with alternating 4 and 3 stress lines, usually with the second and fourth line rhyming. There are 3 types of ballads: folk ballad, literary ballad, and modern ballad. As I quote, "Water, water everywhere, and all the boats did shrink. Water, water everywhere, not any drop to drink." Unquote. These lines are from a famous poem, The Rime of Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, included in Lyrical Ballads. Moving on to biography, John Dryden in the late 17th century defined biography as the history of particular men's lives. It is a detailed account of a person's life, including their character, temperament, milieu, activities, and experiences. Famous examples include James Boswell's The Life of Sir Samuel Johnson and Samuel Johnson's The Lives of the English Poets. Related to biography, there are 2 other terms. The one is hagiography, the study of saints' life, focusing on their lives and miracles. And second is autobiography, a biography written by the subject themselves, such as Mahatma Gandhi's My Experiments with Truth, Kamala Das' Ante Katha, and Niraj C. Chaudhary's The Autobiography of an Unknown Indian. Next we have blank verse, an unrhymed verse written in iambic pentameter. It has a consistent meter with 10 syllables per line, where unstressed syllables are followed by stressed ones. This form has been popular since the Renaissance for its flexibility and dignified tone. It was first used by Surrey in 1540 and subsequently adopted dramatic verse by Thomas Sackville and Thomas Norton in Gorboduc, most powerfully developed by Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare. Many meditative lyrics have been written in blank verse, including Wordsworth, Tintern Abbey, Coleridge's Frost at Midnight, and Tennyson's Tears, Idle Tears. Nitika, let us continue to our next literary term.
Yes, Megha. And now we have a very famous phrase, carpe diem. It is a Latin phrase meaning seize the day, taken from one of Horace's odes. As given in a glossary of literary terms by M.H. Abrams, the speaker in a carpe diem poem emphasizes that life is short and time is fleeting in order to urge his auditor to make the most of present pleasures. To explain it in a better way, I'd like to take the example of William Wordsworth's I wandered lonely as a cloud. As I quote, "For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude." Unquote. Here, Wordsworth encourages readers to appreciate the beauty around them and seize moments of inspiration and joy, reminding us that these experiences can uplift and motivate us long after they occur. This poem embodies the essence of carpe diem by celebrating the importance of being present and finding joy in the world. The next term is catharsis, which is again an important term from a literature student's point of view. Catharsis, a concept deeply embedded in Aristotle's theory of tragedy, is all about the emotional release or purification that the audience gains through the art of storytelling. Works such as Shakespeare's Macbeth are excellent examples of how this idea is portrayed in English literature. Viewers feel a deep sense of relief and emotional cleansing when the main character fails in this instance. The audience gains a sense of psychological relief from Macbeth's journey through ambition, deception, and ultimate downfall because it helps them confront their own anxieties and moral dilemmas.
Yes, Nitika, similar to this, John Milton's Paradise Lost offers readers a cathartic experience by inviting them to reflect on the epic portrayal of Adam and Eve's fall from grace to subsequent redemption.
Yes, and now we have confessional poetry, which is also included in the curriculum of BA. Confessional poetry is a type of writing where poets share very personal and often difficult experiences from their own lives. This style became popular in the mid-20th century and focuses on topics like emotional struggles, relationships, and personal challenges. Kamala Das is a prominent example of a confessional poet in Indian literature. Her poetry, such as in her collection Summer in Calcutta, is known for its raw and honest exploration of personal themes like love, identity, and the struggles of being a woman in a traditional society. Das's verses often delve into her own emotional experiences, including her longing for genuine connection and her disillusionment with societal expectations. By sharing her personal narrative with such candor, Kamala Das allows readers to connect deeply with her feelings and experiences, making her work a powerful example of confessional poetry. Now, Megha, do you know any French word which is also a literary term?
Of course, Nitika. If you remember, there is a French word denouement, which means the unknotting. Refers to the resolution of conflict in fiction or drama. It follows the climax and provides an outcome to the primary plot situation, often involving a character's recognition of their state of mind and moral condition. A famous example is the last scene of Shakespeare's As You Like It, where couples are married, identities are revealed, and a ruler is restored to power. This is also known as the falling action. Our next literary term is dream vision. It is a narrative mode where the narrator dreams the events they relate, often guided by a human or animal. These events are usually allegorical, which Nitika has already discussed with us in the beginning of this lecture. Notable works on dream vision include Dante's Divine Comedy, Langland's Piers Plowman, Chaucer's Book of the Duchess, and The House of Fame, Keats' The Fall of Hyperion, A Dream, Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. Next is a dramatic monologue. Dramatic monologue is a lengthy speech by a single person in a drama or other public entertainment, revealing specific intentions or actions. In literature, it is a poetic form presenting the speech of a person dramatically. Examples include Robert Browning's My Last Duchess, Andrea del Sarto, John Donne's The Canonization, and The Flea, and Tennyson's Ulysses. I quote from My Last Duchess, "That's my last duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder now Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands." Unquote.
Great, Megha. Rather a nice example of dramatic monologue. And now let us discuss elegy. An elegy is a type of mournful or sorrowful poem which serves as a reflection on loss, often focusing on mourning the passing of an individual or expressing sorrow over a significant absence. It gives poets a platform to express their feelings of sadness and pay tribute to those who have passed away, while also exploring broader ideas about life and the unstoppable progression of time. One classic example is when Thomas Gray wrote his famous piece Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard, where the narrator reflects on the lives of ordinary people buried in a peaceful churchyard, thinking about the dreams they never achieved and the inevitable grasp of death. As I quote, "The curfew tolls the knell of parting day, the lowing herd winds slowly over the lea. The ploughman homeward plods his weary way and leaves the world to darkness and to me." Unquote. In these verses, there is a palpable aura of tranquility and deep thoughtfulness emanating as a narrator meditates on the flow of time and unavoidable nature of death. The poem goes deeper into talking about mortality and the experiences of those laid to rest in the churchyard, painting a touching picture of their lives and the inevitable end that awaits us all. Now, the next term we have is epithalamion. An epithalamion is a type of poem or song specifically composed to celebrate a wedding, traditionally performed at the bride's chamber or during the marriage procession. It derives from the Greek words epi, meaning upon, and thalamos, meaning bride chamber, reflecting its purpose to honor the newlyweds. One famous example is the poem named Epithalamion by Edmund Spenser, written in 1595 to celebrate his marriage to Elizabeth Boyle. Spenser's work is characterized by its rich imagery and elaborate structure, consisting of 24 stanzas that recount the journey of the bride and groom and invoke blessings for their union. The next term is euphemism. It is a rhetorical device that replaces a potentially harsh, blunt, or uncomfortable expression with a milder or more indirect term in order to soften or obscure its impact. It makes claims more palatable or acceptable in society. For example, one might use the euphemism passed away or departed, which can feel less harsh and more respectful in place of saying someone has died. In a similar manner, calling a layoff right-sizing or downsizing helps to lessen the blow of losing the job. Speakers try to handle delicate subjects with more civility and sensitivity by employing euphemism. Now, Megha, did you notice that most of the examples that we use in this lecture are works of fiction?
Yes, Nitika.
Can you tell us more about fiction?
Yes, the word fiction refers to stories that are products of imagination rather than documentation of facts. Characters and events may be based on real life but are ultimately creations of the author. Fiction often refers to written narratives in prose such as novels, novellas, and short stories. Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales and Lawrence Sterne's Tristram Shandy are two very common examples of fiction. The next literary term is folklore, which is a collection of fictional stories, cultural myths, jokes, songs, and tales passed down verbally from generation to generation. Though many are now written, it serves as a connection between the past and the present, offering a sense of belonging and understanding of societal values. Some important forms of folklore are folk drama, folk songs, and folk tales. Nitika, have you heard any folklores of your state?
Yes, Megha. Jagars and Jagoris, Ramola and Lok Sahitya are the folklore of Kumaon and Garhwal Hills in Uttarakhand, which incorporate the uniqueness of the geography, diverse ethnic influences and beliefs of the people native to Uttarakhand.
Thank you, Nitika. And lastly, we have free verse. It is famously known as open form verse, which does not follow a specific meter, rhythm or rhyme scheme, allowing a poet to use various rhythmical effects within a single poem. Notable poets who used free verse include Walt Whitman, Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot, Carl Sandburg, and William Carlos Williams. American writer Walt Whitman is famously known as the father of free verse. I quote, "I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you." Unquote. These lines are from his famous collection of poems Leaves of Grass, in which he first used free verse. It is all about today's lecture, in which we cover the literary terms and devices from allegory to free verse. Each play a crucial role in the rich tapestry of literature, offering diverse ways to express stories, emotions, and ideas.
In the next lecture, we will continue from the alphabet G till L, and again we will include the most used terms that will help and enrich the vocabulary of our learners. Thank you.